Hi, good morning. I just wanted to, um, because this game was so hard to explain, I wanted to just quickly show it and give you an idea of exactly what it is. Um, so the first start, like it is a 4X, it is a map game, and I'm just going to kind of go through quickly starting one and showing you, so you can just see it, because it's it'll be easier to do that and explain. So first, you can pick a leader, and all these leaders have their own perks and stats and advantages and disadvantages. But for right now, I'm just going to go random, and we're going to keep all these players at random as well. And for expansion, like there's a lot of different options you can do to mix up the game so it's not constant. I'm just going to keep it on Prince, Ancient Games to be Standard, City States. And then there's maps, so this is where it can get pretty crazy, but um, like, yeah, there's there's a ton of maps, and then there's custom maps as well. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it on continents, and I'll set the map to standard. Again, now you can see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people already, and I can add more. Like, that's not limited for map size. We could really jam it and make it a chaos of just like us versus AI, or just give people zero room and constant war kind of thing. But I'm just gonna leave it at the standard for now. And I'll leave all that stuff centered. And then there's specific game modes. So like, for example, this one, replace barbarian tribes with their own little clans, so they're a little bit more complicated to deal with. Then for this one, there's like heroes and stuff you can claim out on the map. This one's more focused on like industry, and same deal for this. And then there's zombie defense mode that was just really annoying because they just spawn next to your cities for the entire game, and you just have to constantly deal with zombies for like the entire game. So it's very annoying. And then for victory conditions, there are all sorts of victory conditions. Generally, what I do is just turn off everything other than domination. Uh, but if someone enjoys going for different victories, like that's fine. No duplicate civilizations or leaders, and I can turn off barbarians, but that's no fun. I can turn off teams, but that's, yeah. So yeah, it's a very simple like setup for that, but you probably won't understand what most of that means until I show you. So I'm going to show you now, and we'll see what leader we get.
From the first stirrings of life beneath
Nice.
water,
She
the
sucks.
great beasts of the Stone Age.
So you can see
To
she
man
has all
taking
units
his
receive
first
+5
upright
combat strength when
steps,
attacking
you have
wounded
come far.
units. When they eliminate a unit, they
Now
heal up to
begins
30
your
hit points.
greatest quest.
So that basically means
From
like
this
she's
early
good
cradle of
military
civilization
early game. That
on
that isn't
towards
going
the
to scale
stars.
into the late game very
All
well.
people will tremble with fear and respect for you, great warrior
And she
Queen
does get a special
Tamiris.
horse archer
For it is
and
from the back of your
a
stallion that
kurgan,
you
which I
shall
think
look
is like a
upon and lead the
stone
Scythian
thing.
people.
Anyway, so now we're in the game. Arrow keys on the keyboard to pan the camera. And there's a few basic things. So, for starters, that's one of these buttons. We're learning together. It's fine. It's fine. We're not judging. Peel religion. There's one that shows me input on tiles, and I don't know why I have that down. So I'll figure that out later. For now, here's a bit thing. So these are settlers. These found cities. That's their only purpose. They cannot fight or anything. They just found cities. So right now, I found a city right there. And rivers give some benefits. And then these are the first warriors, so they're like the military of the game. And you can see when you click on them, they have a movement range, and that changes over different types of terrain. So I'm just going to go like that to kind of scout out. But the problem is, if there's barbarians, I'm not very well defended. So you can go for a scout because they have movement of 3. But I'm going to go for a warrior. They have movement of 2, but they can actually fight. And the reason for that is if I lose this warrior, or if this warrior is just alone, if there's an enemy on this tile and an enemy on this tile, they have a much harder time fighting. But if there's an enemy, and an ally, it can be a lot more controlled of a fight. I'm just going to go... I shouldn't really go animal husbandry because we only have horses and we don't even have that yet. Mining could be like this. Luxury resource requires mining. This one requires animal husbandry. So that's up to me. But personally, I'm worried about food. I don't have a great food output off the bat. So I'm going to go for pottery so I can build a granary. And then just hit next turn. And the other thing is when we're playing in multiplayer, we all take our turns at the same time. And you see, like that turn, because my city was building, the only thing I can do is move my unit once. So, early turns are really, really fast. And I'm just scouting around to see where I am. So, if I know there's water this way, then I need to know exactly where I'm most at risk of being attacked from. And that's kind of the simple, like, early game. Just scout around the map, look for potential enemies, potential allies, look for resources. Now I have my second warrior, so I constantly want to be looking for barbarians. And now that I've built my warrior, I'm going to go with the monument next, because that'll give me I'll start on my culture production. Currently my culture is 1.3 per turn. So the monument will give a huge increase to culture production, which will lead into policies later. So I found a barbarian camp. That's really unfortunate positioning because they have a ship that can shoot at you, and it's going to be hard to attack them. So I immediately need my second warrior up there, and my first warrior unit might be in danger, but it looks like the ship left. So I'm actually just going to move right there. And now that we've dealt with our food, I either want mining to increase income and stuff, or animal husbandry to get sheep. So I actually want the sheep. And we're going to continue our military campaign. So one thing you can see with the combat and how the combat works is if I go here, you can see in the bottom right there, major defeat. And basically what that means is they have a more powerful unit. They have a 31 strength unit that's fortified in a fort, so they're getting like +6 fortified defense. I don't know if you can see that well, but +6 fortified defense. So if I just charge in full health to full health, I'm going to be at a disadvantage next turn because I will be lower health. So I need to wait for my second unit to get here, but also I want to make it hard. Like if they decide to attack me, I want to make it harder for them. So what I'm going to do is set my unit to fortify, and that will make them in a defensive stance. So now they get a fortified bonus, and they can just wait for my other unit to show up, and we can work on it together. And now we're both here, so now I can get this party started. So I'm just going to do one with this unit. And you see we both took damage, but I took more damage. So I'm going to hit him with this unit as well. And now it's different. Now it's a stalemate, but I still don't want to do that. And you can only attack once per turn, other than special instances. So what you can do is fortify until healed, because when you're fortified, your units will heal. They'll heal faster in your territory. Oh shit, there's another one down here somewhere. You can see the scouts always come from a barbarian camp. So there's another camp below me that I'm going to need to deal with. Which probably means...
policies in our government can...
Yeah, great. This is the policy. It's it's eerily similar to Last Fortress, like those cards where it's just special things. So right now, I know I have a barbarian problem. So I'm putting that in. And do I want production or faith and gold? I personally am going to go for faith and gold, because this is the only way you can get faith income this early is with that policy card. And then we can use this as like research, but it's cultural research, so to speak. So I want to go, and this is how you unlock more cards for the thing I just showed you, is through this cultural research. I have a thingy that I discovered something that gave me a boost to the progress of this one. So, and this also unlocks traders and allows the creation of trade routes. So this one is very important to get. So I'm going to go with that one first. And now they just spawned another ship, but we're not quite done healing, but this unit is close to healing. So rather than wait one more turn and let them potentially spawn something else, I'm going to do that. So now, using teamwork and coordination, we've dealt with the barbarian camp. I have no way to shoot those ships or anything. So what I need to do now is get these units back down to my city as fast as possible, because now that the barbarians below me have scouted me, they're going to start sending units after me, and I need to deal with that problem. But now you can see I have 2 population on my city, so I have the option of building a settler to start working on my second city. But that'll take 9 turns. Alternatively, I could do another warrior, which will take 5 turns and will give me a better chance against more barbarians, which I'm kind of worried about. Or, because I researched the granary now, I can do that to take 8 turns, which will get me more food, which will help my city grow, which is a big problem right now with city growth. So I'm not really under threat. So I don't currently. So I don't think I need the warrior. And I want growth. You want growth to go as fast as possible, because like the higher your level of city, the more buildings it can have, and the better production and the more tiles it can utilize. Because if I click this city, toggle city details, you can see it really breaks it down. But the simple version is 2 means you're using the production of 2 tiles around you. So I'm probably using, I'm gonna be using sheep and that one, because that one has good food and production. This one has good production, a little bit of food, a little bit of money. So those are, and then I can prioritize on as well. If I manage citizens, you can see the citizens are in those tiles already. So if I really wanted to switch what tiles I'm using, I could do that here. You can also buy tiles with gold to spread the influence of a city faster, but that's kind of a niche situation. And you can purchase faith and purchase with money. So I could just straight up buy a warrior with the gold I have right now, but I'm not gonna do that at this moment because I don't need it. So I'm feeling all right about my position. So I'm gonna start with granary and get that growth going as fast as possible.
If there are no dogs in heaven.
And yeah, I'm just gonna start moving these guys down. You can set like this, so they'll automatically move on that route and hope nothing gets in your way. Let's see. I have animal husbandry, so I can get the sheep. I don't have gypsum yet, but you can't utilize these resources until you have a worker doing them anyway. So I'm gonna start on writing so I can get my science going and improve that. And there's another scout. So that means there's a barbarian camp below me, and there's a barbarian camp somewhere to the left. Which I'm gonna retask these units. Actually gonna fortify them until they're healed now, because now I'm starting to be more nervous about my positioning. So now I unlocked a few more cards, and I can change it up here. I can do gold from trade routes if I want, or I could do production towards ancient and classical naval units. I'm not building naval units. I don't need that. I don't want to have recon units. I don't have trade routes yet, so I'm just going to leave it for now. and choose another one. Early Empire is another good one because that like gives political penalties for people scouting through your land. You can see my borders are open right now. That's why they're staggered like this. So that's the first thing I'm gonna work to resolve. Those guys are still healing, so these guys can take point. All right, they're done healing, so now I have 2 full strength warriors here, and we just need to find this camp. Okay, that's blocked off, so the camp is probably. And now that I have growth, one thing to note is when you build another city, it reduces city's population by 1 when completed. So you really don't want to, and that'll reduce this from 2 to a 1, which really sets you back. So I don't want to do that yet. I feel like I need another warrior at this point because my land area has expanded, and I'm worried that more barbarians are coming. See right there, that's 2 barbarian, and I'm not even being attacked from the bottom yet. So I'm actually going to fall back so I can get that unit closer together. And this is exactly why I made 2 units before. So now I can go like that, and like that, and we're on more equal footing. But because I have that policy card, I come out on top in combat. So I'm just going to play a defensive role. I know I have another warrior unit on the way. And I'd rather this be a 3-2 fight, and they just have a scout. Scouts can defend, but they're shit. So I'm keeping it defensive until my next warrior gets there. And now that I'm happy with my military, I'm not feeling stressed, I can start to work on my second city. And they're just attacking into fortified positions, so I am absolutely just kicking their ass here. Which is beautiful. That's exactly what I want. Yeah, so they have no chance. Slingers, those are ranged units, so I do have to push into that a bit. Like, ranged units, their advantage is they can attack without taking damage. Melee units cannot. And there's the camp right there. So we're just going to keep our advance. My units have good health.
We have recently gained.
Writing.
Yeah. My units have good health, so we're going to move in closer. I'm going to take the opportunity to deal some damage to scouts. But see, scouts can only defend. They can't attack. And this unit has enough experience, range attack, that you can kind of give them a little perk. So that is an advantage in keeping units alive longer. Okay, at this point I'm going to get mining so I can take advantage of those resources soon. As soon as I pop out my first settler, I'm going to want to pop out a worker to improve the land around my city if I can. So I'm just going to keep... That one is a little bit low, and they get a little bit of health when they get promoted as well. So we're going to do that and clear, easy peasy, another camp gone. And I can see while I'm over here, this will be a good place for another city, because I've got bonus resources, I've got salt, plenty of open farmland to take advantage of. So that is something to think about while you're exploring, because something important to note, if you're next to another player or another faction, another AI player, for example, if they put a city there, the only way you can take over their city pretty much is by starting a war and forcefully taking it, which might not go great. So that scout actually just killed himself on this city, which is kind of convenient for me. So we're just going to keep going.
Who deserves more credit than the...
I have mining. My settler's up. So when you click on settler, it kind of shows where good places for cities are. Depending on what you want, like, my current thinking right now is I feel like I might be on a small island. And if I'm on a small island, I am going to want a navy as soon as possible to try and expand and find more land. Because if I become landlocked and small, everyone else is going to outgrow me, and there's nothing I can do about it. So my second city I'm going to have on the water. Well, not on the water, but next to the water. To try and get that going. And because I know that is my plan currently, I have a few options. One, I can get walls for my cities to be a little more defensive. I can get a water mill to improve production. Excuse me. I've done a lot of talking this weekend, so that's fine. Because I'm on a river, I can take advantage of that. But because I know I might need to go Navy, I'm going to get sailing and fishing boats going in my research. And I'm going to start on the campus. So this is where Civilization 6 is a little different from the older games. In the older games, every building was in your city and it was fine. In Civilization 6, you have to build the main other buildings out in the world, and they get bonuses. So you can see this is a research building. It gets a bonus from being next to a mountain. But I don't want to build it here because I will delete my sheep. And it also gets bonuses from being next to other factions. So what I'm actually going to do is... These tiles like this are kind of garbage, but I don't really want to build there. I'd rather build in this area that I'm going to expand into later. So I'm going to actually start it and purchase this tile and build it there. And you can see now it's building. It'll build that there. And we can continue our anti-barbarian campaign and try and find the next camp, which should be down here because that's where we saw the scout coming from. And bearing that in mind, if settlers get attacked by an enemy unit, they actually just get immediately taken over. Alright, let's see what we can do now. So I'm not really worried about barbarians. So I might change the red card. But I'm still a little, so I'm going to keep that. And I could do colonization protections towards settlers. And I'm not really worried about rapid expansion right now. If I was worried about rapid expansion, I'd probably swap this card in for my faith in gold in the capital thing. But I'm not worried about rapid expansion because there just isn't much land around me, so that's not a problem. And I can choose what to go for next, and I'll open the civics tree so you can see this. I'm going to go for political philosophy. And I can just click anywhere and it'll just go the fastest route to get there. That's not always a great plan, but it is an option. I feel like we're going to find this camp really soon here. Alright, warrior. I don't want the city here because that'll destroy the honey, so I go there. And we're just going to keep marching. And then there's the scout that we saw earlier, and it's taken some damage. So only like city-states and other factions can damage barbarians, really. So that's something I should. I might have another player below me that is taking these. And this is the faith system, so you get bonuses from religion. And but only each religion can only have one of these. So they first come, first serve for these. I'm gonna go with Divine Spark. You can do whatever you want. That's just what I'm going with now for this time. And that's exactly what I was talking about. So someone is right beneath us. And that just complicated my strategy of going naval, because, as you can see... Oh, that's actually a city-state. So that's not a problem. That's fine. We like that, actually, because city-states are not aggressive, and you can invest into them and turn them into allies pretty easily. So this is my second city, and you see its production is absolutely garbage, but it'll grow in 4 turns. So I'm just going to start granary to help that growth. And continue on, and we'll see how the game progresses in a little bit.